to In the Box with Mike Cola. I'm your host, your #1 source for everything related to the NHL and our fantasy hockey league. We're going to have a quick update once a week just to fill everyone in and maybe give you some insider information, help you guys out. So just to get started today, we'll start off on a lighter note with our fun fact of the day. Fun fact of the day being, Scott Gomez has the same number of assists as goalie Rick DiPietro of the Islanders, even though DiPietro played less games. Now moving on to a more serious note, we do have some struggles going on in our league recently. Chris, the manager of Power Players, has had a pretty rough time with his goalie situation. He's adopted the rolling the goalie strategy, which hasn't really worked that well for him as of now. And if we have a look at all the goalies he's had over the past few weeks, they're all Vezina quality goalies. I put them all on my phone just to make sure I didn't forget any. We have Al Montoya, Matthew Garon, Evgeny Nabokov, Jonas Gustafsson, Brian Boucher, Alex Auld, Jason LaBarbera, Dan Ellis, Craig Anderson, and Ben the Scribbleman Scrivens. All quality, top-notch goalies that have resulted in goals against average in the ranges of anywhere between 5 and 10. If we look at the history here of Grover's goals against average, we see that he started off the month of November with a respectable 5 goals against average, which then he got better. We approached 2, only down to 2, but in recent games, we've had Craig Anderson, and we've had Matthew Garon and Ben Scrivens, which resulted in goals against averages of 8, 10, and 12. Now, rumor has it that Grover is looking for a new goalie, so he looks like he has a lot of his players on the block. If anyone has any extra goalies looking at trading, he may be interested. Now, if we switch gears to some fantasy tips for the week, I assumed everyone was going to look at, the technicalities and rules because we all spent $50 in this pool, but some of us are making huge mistakes, and I'm here to help you guys out. First of all, rule number 1, make sure you dress all your players on time. If we look this week, Kingston, this team called the Losers, he's had a pretty loser type of strategy. He had Yaroslav Halak on the bench this week, and that resulted in him missing out on a shutout and a 100% save percentage on that night. Also, another fun fact to know is that we have 2 spots for injured reserve. So if you have any players that are injured, you can move them down to the injured reserve spot without having to drop them on waivers where someone could steal them, put them on injured reserve, and then pick someone else right after. So that's a few tips for you guys there. And finally, one last thing to give you an update on what's going on this week in the league. Yesterday, Tampa against Philly. Very low-scoring game. I don't know if you guys saw what happened. Tampa adopted a 1-3-1 strategy where they had 1 defenseman with a line of 3 people and a forward with no forechecking, resulting in Philadelphia just staying in their own zone skating around. And as a big fan of boring Italian defensive soccer, I appreciated this. But if you're trying to sell the game in the United States, it's really not the best way to go. So I don't think that's going to continue. I think they're going to crack down. So everyone that has St. Louis, Le Cavalier, Stamkos, they should be looking at improving in their next few games, as long as Guy Boucher changes his strategies. So that's all for today's show In the Box with Mike Cola. Stay tuned for next week. And with that, penalty time has expired.